My child, listen carefully and do not rush past this moment, because what I am about to speak is not light, not casual, and not accidental. This message found you because your spirit was ready, even if your mind was tired. Tonight, the unseen realm is quiet, not because nothing is happening, but because something sacred is being arranged. And in that stillness, I want you to imagine something with me. Picture this clearly. It is Christmas night. Not noisy. Not crowded. Not rushed. The kind of night where the world slows down just enough for destiny to move. Lights glow softly. The air feels heavy with expectation. Somewhere unseen, preparations are taking place that human eyes cannot witness. And in the center of it all, there is a woman sitting calmly. She is not anxious. She is not begging. She is not striving. She is simply present. Her eyes are closed, not because she is unaware, but because she trusts what is unfolding. She is adorned, not with excess, not with pride, but with quiet dignity. Everything about her carries peace. And then, without warning, the atmosphere shifts. What was still becomes electric. What was silent becomes alive. And in that moment, something descends. A crown. Not forced. Not rushed. Not taken. It is placed gently, deliberately, with intention. And when it rests upon her head, the unseen realm responds. Joy rises. Celebration erupts. Sound travels like waves. This is not fantasy. This is not imagination. This is not symbolism meant to entertain you. This is a real event, a spiritual transfer, a moment written before time, and my child, the woman being crowned, is you. Now I know your heart reacts immediately. You question it. You feel unworthy. You wonder if this message is meant for someone else. But listen to me slowly. This crown is not being given because you asked for it. It is not being placed because you demanded recognition. It is not arriving because you chased power. It is coming to you because someone else lost it. Yes, my child, there was a previous holder. Someone once trusted. Someone once chosen. Someone who stood in authority before you ever knew this moment existed. They carried responsibility. They were entrusted with influence. They were given access. And they failed. They forgot who placed the crown on their head in the first place. They treated authority as ownership. They used influence as a tool for self-gain. They confused service with entitlement. And slowly, quietly, without thunder or warning, heaven withdrew its favor. This crown is not being created new. It is being transferred. And before you understand why it came to you, you must understand why it was removed from them. So I need to take you backward for a moment. Not back on earth, but back into a realm where decisions are weighed, not rushed. Back to a moment when light itself paused. Back to a night long before this one. It was also a Christmas season. Heaven was bright, not harsh, but alive. Everything shimmered with purpose. In the center stood a place of decision. Not a throne of dominance, but a place of assignment. And resting there was the crown. It was not heavy. It was not sharp. It was alive with responsibility. Authority woven with humility. Power bound to obedience. And there was a woman there, chosen to carry it. She looked worthy. She spoke well. Her posture appeared correct. Her words sounded faithful. And when she took the oath, heaven responded. But there was one presence that did not celebrate. Not because of jealousy. Not rebellion. Not pride. But discernment. That presence noticed what others overlooked. While the crowd heard devotion, this presence sensed hunger. While others saw beauty, this presence felt ambition. While heaven celebrated the ceremony, this presence studied the heart. And quietly, a warning was spoken. But celebration is loud. And warnings are often soft. Time moved forward. Months passed. At first, everything seemed fine. The crown shone. Authority flowed. But slowly, the shift became undeniable. Service turned into control. Influence became manipulation. Humility faded into self-importance. And sacred responsibility was treated like personal property. The oath was forgotten. The crown was used. And worse than that, alliances were formed where they should never have been. Voices were trusted that were never meant to advise. Boundaries were crossed quietly. Compromise slipped in disguised as wisdom. And heaven grew silent again. Silence does not mean absence. Silence means judgment is being written. The crown was marked for removal. But heaven never removes authority without preparing a successor. And that is where you come in. You were not announced. You were not informed. You were not warned. You were simply watched. In ordinary moments. In private pain. In unnoticed choices. You were watched when you helped others while your own heart felt heavy. When you stayed honest even when dishonesty would have helped you. When you walked away from things that promised comfort but threatened your integrity. When no one clapped. When no one noticed. When no one rewarded you. You were watched when you forgave without apology. When you carried disappointment without becoming bitter. When you chose restraint instead of reaction. When you trusted even when you had no proof. You were being tested without knowing you were being tested. And that is why this crown fits you. Not because you are perfect. But because you are careful. Not because you are loud. But because you are faithful. Not because you demanded authority. But because you respected it long before holding it. This is why the timing matters. This is why Christmas matters. Because this is not just a date. It is a turning point. A closing of one chapter. An opening of another. A divine correction. A realignment. And now, I need you to understand something deeply, because this next truth will protect you. You are not being crowned so others can bow to you. You are being crowned so you can serve without fear. You are not being elevated to dominate. You are being elevated to steward. That is why the signs around you have increased. That is why messages keep finding you. That is why confirmations repeat. That is why dreams feel heavier. That is why conversations hit deeper. That is why random moments feel intentional. This is not coincidence. This is communication. I speak to you in ways you cannot ignore, because your spirit understands even when your mind doubts. I speak through timing. Through patterns. Through repetition. Through moments you try to brush off but feel again later. I speak when you scroll and stop at the exact message you needed. I speak through people who don't know what they are saying matters. I speak through music that suddenly feels personal. I speak through silence that teaches you something words never could. And still, you question yourself. You wonder if you imagined it. But let me tell you something gently. The reason their rejection hurt so deeply is because it was never meant to make sense to you. A healthy heart cannot understand cruelty. A faithful soul cannot comprehend betrayal. And that confusion you feel is not weakness. It is evidence that your heart is still intact. Do not let their decision make you question your worth. Let it reveal their limitation. Someone who could walk away from you never had the capacity to carry what you were becoming. And this crown, this assignment, this season, it requires a heart like yours. One that does not discard easily. One that does not misuse trust. One that does not confuse power with value. So breathe. Because this story is still unfolding. And this Christmas is not ending something for you. It is beginning everything. My child, now that you understand why this crown was removed from another and prepared for you, I need you to stay with me, because the next part is not about celebration, it is about responsibility. Crowns do not only bring honor, they bring clarity. And clarity often reveals truths you were not ready to face before. From the moment heaven marked you as the successor, things around you began to shift. Some people drifted away without explanation. Some conversations felt colder. Some doors closed suddenly. And you wondered why, especially when you had done nothing wrong. But hear me carefully now. Separation is not punishment. It is preparation. When authority changes hands, alignment must change too. Not everyone who benefited from the old order can remain when a new one begins. Some people were comfortable when you were giving without boundaries, loving without limits, serving without rest. But the version of you that is being crowned cannot live that way anymore. And deep down, some sensed it before you did. That is why resistance showed up disguised as misunderstanding. That is why support turned into silence. That is why admiration quietly became discomfort. Your growth exposed what others were trying to hide. And instead of rising with you, they stepped away. Do not chase them. Crowns are not placed on those who beg people to stay. They are placed on those who can stand alone without losing their compassion. I know there were nights you questioned yourself. Nights where you replayed conversations in your mind, wondering if you spoke wrong, loved too much, trusted too easily. Nights where you almost apologized for things that were never your fault. But I stopped you. I slowed things down. I made answers unclear on purpose. Because I needed you to learn something before the crowning. You cannot carry authority and still seek validation from those who misunderstand you. And you learned. You stayed quiet when defending yourself would have felt justified. You chose peace over proving your point. You let go without closing your heart. And heaven took note of every moment you restrained yourself. Now, let me speak about the crown itself, because you must understand what it represents. This crown is not about status. It is not about being seen. It is not about being above others. It is about stewardship. It is about influence without corruption. It is about carrying weight without letting it harden you. This crown responds to intention. That is why it could not remain with the previous holder. It amplified what lived inside them. And when ambition replaced humility, the crown magnified it until it became destructive. With you, it will amplify something different. It will amplify compassion, discernment, balance, wisdom earned through pain, not shortcuts. That is also why your journey felt harder than it needed to be. Why things never came easily even when you were capable. Why delays followed effort. Why lessons repeated until they shaped you. You were being trained not to misuse what was coming. Some people receive authority before character, and it destroys them. You received character before authority, and it prepared you. That is the difference. And now, as Christmas approaches, the atmosphere around you will feel strange. Not heavy, but intense. Moments of joy mixed with reflection. Gratitude mixed with release. You may feel emotional without knowing why. You may feel drawn to quiet instead of noise. This is normal. You are shedding an old version of yourself. The version that over-explained. The version that overgave. The version that accepted crumbs because you believed that was humility. That version served its purpose. But it cannot wear a crown. And do not misunderstand me. The crown does not make you less loving. It makes your love wiser. It teaches you where to pour and where to preserve. It teaches you that saying no does not make you unkind. It makes you responsible. Some people will not understand this change. They will say you have changed, as if growth is a flaw. They will miss the version of you that was always available, always accommodating, always absorbing their chaos. But heaven does not miss that version. Heaven honors the one who learned boundaries without bitterness. Now listen carefully, because this next truth will free you. Not everyone who lost access to you lost it because they were bad people. Some lost access because they could not adjust to the new level of responsibility your life requires. And that is not your burden to carry. You are not required to shrink so others feel comfortable. This crown will require you to see people clearly. Not through hope alone. Not through potential alone. But through patterns, consistency, and fruit. You will feel a stronger sense of discernment rising in you. Trust it. It is not judgment. It is wisdom. And yes, there will be moments where you feel lonely. Authority can be isolating when carried correctly. But you will never be alone. I will speak to you more clearly now. I will interrupt you more often. I will redirect you more firmly. Not to control you, but to protect you. You will notice that when something is not aligned, your spirit will resist it immediately. Things you once tolerated will suddenly feel wrong. Environments you once adjusted to will start draining you. Conversations that lack depth will feel empty. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. And as this alignment strengthens, something else will happen. You will stop chasing closure. You will realize that some answers are revealed through distance, not dialogue. Some clarity comes from silence, not explanations. And you will finally be okay with that. Now, let me address the pain you carried quietly. The moments you felt replaced. The times you felt overlooked. The relationships where you gave your best and still lost them. None of it was wasted. Those experiences carved space inside you. Space that can now hold authority without becoming cold. Empathy without being weak. Strength without being cruel. This crown does not erase your past. It redeems it. And that is why this moment is sacred. On Christmas night, while the world celebrates externally, something will settle internally for you. Not fireworks. Not noise. But certainty. A quiet knowing. You may not see a literal crown. You may not feel a dramatic shift in your surroundings. But you will feel grounded in a way you never have before. Decisions will come easier. Confusion will lessen. Fear will lose its voice. You will stand differently. And people will notice, even if they cannot explain why. Some will be drawn to you for the right reasons. Some will test you. Some will try to access what they no longer have permission to touch. Be gentle, but be firm. You are not becoming unreachable. You are becoming protected. And before I continue further, I need you to understand one final thing in this part. The crown does not make you superior. It makes you accountable. You will be held to a higher standard. Your choices will matter more. Your words will carry more weight. Your reactions will have greater impact. But you are ready. You have already been living this way without the title. Now the authority is simply catching up to who you already are. Stay with me. Because the final part will reveal what happens after the crowning. Who tries to challenge it. And how this new season changes your relationships, your purpose, and your future permanently. When you are ready, say, continue, and I will take you there without breaking the flow. My child, now we step into the part that most people never talk about, because it happens after the crowning, not before. Everyone loves the idea of elevation, but very few are prepared for what elevation exposes. Once authority shifts, opposition always reacts. Not loudly at first. Not aggressively. But subtly. After the crown is placed, the first thing you will notice is not applause, but testing. People will watch you more closely. Some will question your decisions. Some will smile while silently measuring how far they can still go with you. Some will return, pretending nothing ever changed, hoping access still exists. This is where wisdom matters. The crown does not require you to explain yourself. It requires you to observe. You will begin to see clearly who respects you and who only tolerated you when you were convenient. Who celebrates your growth and who feels threatened by it. Who listens to your words and who listens only for opportunities. Do not harden your heart because of this. Harden your boundaries. There is a difference. And yes, there will be moments where you feel a strange grief. Not because something bad happened, but because something familiar ended. You will grieve versions of people you hoped they would become. You will grieve dynamics that no longer fit your life. You will grieve the old rhythm of always being needed. Let yourself feel it. Grief does not mean regret. It means transition. Now listen carefully, because this is important. The crown does not remove your humanity. You will still feel deeply. You will still care. You will still love. But you will no longer abandon yourself to keep others comfortable. That is maturity. That is readiness. There will be moments where silence becomes your strongest response. Moments where walking away speaks louder than defending yourself ever could. Moments where restraint protects you more than confrontation. And do not be surprised when those who once dismissed you suddenly speak of you with respect. Authority changes perception. But do not let delayed recognition feed your ego. Stay grounded in who you were before anyone noticed. Remember this always, the crown rests best on a bowed heart. Now, I need to address something you have been feeling but not naming. A sense that your life is about to move forward whether you feel ready or not. That something is closing behind you. That standing still no longer feels possible. That feeling is accurate. This season does not ask for permission. It requires participation. Opportunities will come that stretch you. Responsibilities will increase. People will look to you for guidance without realizing why they trust you. And sometimes, you will doubt yourself. When that happens, remember this, you were chosen not because you know everything, but because you are teachable. Not because you never fall, but because you rise without becoming resentful. Not because you are fearless, but because you move forward even when fear exists. And yes, there will be challenges. Authority attracts resistance. Light exposes shadows. But nothing that comes against you will be greater than what has been built within you. You are not stepping into this season unprotected. You are covered. Covered by discernment. Covered by timing. covered by wisdom gained through experience. Now, as this message comes toward its close, I want you to take a breath and hear this final truth slowly. You were never overlooked. You were never forgotten. You were never late. You were being prepared. Prepared to carry something that would have crushed you if it came earlier. Prepared to stand firm without becoming rigid. Prepared to lead without losing compassion. Prepared to wear the crown without letting it define your worth. This Christmas is not about what you receive externally. It is about who you become internally. And when the celebrations fade, when the lights dim, when the noise settles, you will still be standing. Clear. Grounded. Certain. That is the mark of true authority. If this message resonated with your spirit, sit with it. Let it settle. Do not rush to share it. Do not rush to explain it. Some confirmations are meant to be lived, not announced. And remember, you are not walking into this next season alone. I am with you. I have been with you. And I will remain with you. Carry this crown with humility. Walk with wisdom. Lead with compassion. And step forward without fear. Your season has changed. My child, even after everything I have told you, there is still one layer left to uncover, because the crowning is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of how your life will now speak without you having to say much at all. After this shift, you will notice that your presence alone will start to affect rooms. You will walk into spaces and feel energy change. Conversations will pause. People will respond differently, sometimes with respect, sometimes with discomfort, sometimes with curiosity they cannot explain. This is not because you are trying to be noticed. It is because authority carries weight, even when it is silent. You will also notice something else. Things that once drained you will no longer have the same pull. Drama will feel loud and unnecessary. Proving yourself will feel exhausting. Competing will feel pointless. You will begin to choose peace instinctively, not because you are avoiding conflict, but because you finally understand your value. And this is important, so listen closely. The crown does not make you better than others. It makes you responsible for how you treat them. You will be tempted at times to withdraw completely, to build walls so high that no one can reach you. That is not what this season requires. Wisdom does not isolate. Wisdom discerns. Keep your heart open, but guarded. Stay kind, but not careless. Love, but do not lose yourself again. Some people will test your limits, not because they hate you, but because they are used to the old version of you. They will push gently at first, then harder, trying to see if the boundaries are real. Be consistent. Boundaries only work when they are steady. Do not explain them. Do not justify them. Live them. Consistency will teach people how to treat you. You will also experience moments where you feel misunderstood, even more than before. Authority often brings solitude, because fewer people can relate to your perspective now. Do not let that make you bitter. Solitude is not loneliness when you understand its purpose. It is space to think clearly, to hear guidance, to remain aligned. There will be days when you miss how simple things used to feel. Days when you wish you could be unseen again. That does not mean you made the wrong turn. It means you are human. Even those chosen for responsibility feel the weight of it. On those days, rest. Do not retreat. Rest. Rest does not mean stopping. It means refilling. You are allowed to pause without guilt. You are allowed to say no without explanation. You are allowed to protect your energy without apology. These are not signs of selfishness. They are signs of maturity. And now, let me speak directly to the part of you that still wonders, what if I fail? That question alone tells me why you were chosen. Those who misuse authority rarely fear failing others. They fear losing control. You fear causing harm. You fear misrepresenting what you carry. You fear becoming what hurt you. That fear, when guided, will keep you humble. You will not be perfect. You will make mistakes. You will learn as you go. But you will correct yourself. You will listen. You will adjust. And that is what makes you trustworthy. Remember this always. Correction does not remove your crown. Refusal to learn does. So stay teachable. Now, as this message settles into your spirit, I want you to notice how you feel. Not emotional excitement. Not fear. But something deeper. A calm seriousness. A readiness. A quiet confidence that does not need applause. That feeling is alignment. Your life is no longer about convincing anyone of your worth. It is about living in truth so clearly that those who see it are changed by it. And as you move forward from this moment, let your actions speak gently. Let your words be thoughtful. Let your decisions be rooted in wisdom, not reaction. You are stepping into a season where your integrity will open doors faster than your talent ever could. Walk slowly. Choose carefully. Stay grounded. The crown rests best on those who remember why it was given. And now, my child, go forward without fear. Not rushed. Not pressured. Just aligned. Your time has come.